summarize 15 for you. Okay, it's a very sweet sutta. Okay. All right, let's look at chapter 47.15, Sariputta Nirodha Sutta. The Sariputta discourse on cessation. You can also call this a Panchaka Nirodha Sutta because this comes from the Book of Fives in the Anguttara. Panchaka Nirodha Sutta. Nirodha here refers to this meditation on once all the jhanas have been attained and this non-returner or arahat or the Buddha goes into this deep meditation. It is the experience of nirvana here and now, so to speak. Okay. But the interesting thing is that this sutta is not about that particular teaching. It's something else. Okay, let's find out what is it really about. Okay, look at page. What page is it? 151. Okay, the Panchaka Nirodha Sutta, the Fives discourse on cessation. That is about Sariputta. Okay, section 1. There the Venerable Sariputta addressed the monks thus: Avuso bhikshus. The monks replied to the Venerable Sariputta in essence. The Venerable Sariputta said this. Okay, so this is a teaching given by Sariputta. Okay, he says here, Avuso, accomplished in moral virtue, accomplished in samadhi, accomplished in wisdom, a monk may attain the cessation of perception and feeling. This is possible. But if he does not win direct knowledge here and now, having been reborn in some mind-made host of devas who have gone beyond feeding on material food, he would attain the cessation of perception and feeling too. This is possible. Okay, here Sariputta is giving quite a deep teaching, you know. He's saying that if you attain the various levels of the path, sainthood, you can enjoy this wonderful meditation. Even if you are not fully awakened, if you are reborn in some of the heavenly worlds, you can also experience this. Okay, so that's the teaching, all right? Now this is the thesis. And then you have the antithesis. No? Someone disagrees with him, number 4, section 4. When this was said, the Venerable Udayi said this to the Venerable Sariputta: It is not possible, Avuso, Sariputta, there is no chance that a monk can be reborn in some mind-made host of devas who have gone beyond feeding on material food, that he would attain this cessation. No? So you have this monk who's not very bright. This is probably Udayi the fat. Okay, so he's the cousin of the Buddha. He's very arrogant. He's proud of the fact that he's the Buddha's cousin. So he often would sometimes say nasty things to the monks. So here he totally disagrees with Sariputta, and he has no reason for it. He just says it's not possible. Right? Then for the second time, Sariputta said the same thing to the monks. Okay? The same teaching. Again, this Udayi objects. And the third time it happens. Again, Udayi objects. So by the third time, look at section 12. Then it occurred to the Venerable Sariputta: Now, for the third time, the Venerable Udayi has rejected me, and not a single monk shows agreement with me. Okay, this is the problem, okay? All right? Nobody stood up for Sariputta. He said, this is rather strange, you know. I mean, Sariputta would not teach something wrong, is it? So he says that if you attain awakening or even non-returning, you can attain this state of cessation, a kind of suspended body animation. Okay? Everything is suspended. What we know as life is all gone, you know, but the person is not dead. Or if he's reborn in one of those heavenly states, it's also possible for him to go into this deep meditation. But this ignorant monk says, no, that's not possible, just like that, okay? So he's also being rude to a teacher, just objecting without questioning. See? Instead, he could have questioned, he said, how is it possible, and so on, but he just objects. So Sariputta says, wow, 3 times he has given this teaching, and 3 times nobody kind of stood up for him. Of course, you may ask, how come Sariputta doesn't take the trouble to rebut the point raised by Udayi? But Sariputta has this gentleness in him, which we sometimes do not see. He doesn't want to get into a quarrel. So, because there was someone else sitting in the congregation, that is Ananda. Ananda was there. So he was wondering, he says, even Ananda did not speak for me. So he said, okay, let's leave it at that. Okay, he doesn't want to argue. Okay? So, now, okay, then what happens after that? So he goes to the Buddha, all right? So everything's repeated, I won't read the repeated part. He goes to the Buddha and explains this point, okay? Then the Buddha tells Udayi, look at section 26. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Udayi, now Udayi, what do you understand by a mind-made host? That is the Devas, no? Bhante, there are formless Devas composed of subtle consciousness. Now Udayi, what is this foolishness and fumbling talk of yours that you think you should speak so, right? So the Buddha says, you understand there are these Devas, right? So how can you speak against Sariputta and say that it's not possible for someone to be reborn in that kind of realm and to go into that kind of meditation? So the Buddha is saying, you yourself know there are these kind of higher realms. Why do you object to Sariputta? So this is a short mention which the Buddha tells to this Udayi, okay? But again, this is not the part of the story, okay? Look at section 29. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Sariputta. Ananda, how can you just look on as an elder while he is being harassed? Okay? So here you see the Buddha actually taking a step and saying, Ananda, you should have spoken up for Sariputta. Is there no compassion, Ananda, for an elder monk who is being harassed? Okay? So then comes the teaching. Okay? So you find the Buddha giving the qualities, the true qualities of a monk. All right? It says, section 30, then the Blessed One addressed the monks, here bhikshus, among accomplished in moral virtue, samadhi, wisdom, notice 3 trainings, may attain the cessation of perception. This is possible. Right? Now, he may be reborn in one of those higher heavens, and he still can go into this kind of state. So the Buddha confirms his teaching given by Sariputta. All right? Now, Ananda feels remorseful. Look at section 33. Then, not long after the Blessed One had left, the Venerable Ananda approached the Venerable Upawana and said to this. Now, Upawana is also one of the Buddha's attendant, right? Now, here you see something very interesting, because you do not know the background of this, who these monks are, you will not know the significance of this story. Now, Ananda, as you know, is the Buddha, also the Buddha's. We're not told at this time exactly whether he is the Buddha's attendant or not, but very likely he is. Anyway, he speaks to Upawana, who is probably an elder too. He says, section 34, here Avuso Upawana, they were harassing the other elder monks, but we did not question them. Now, Avuso Upawana, it would not be surprising that when the Blessed One emerges from his evening solitary retreat, he would raise this very same matter and ask the Venerable Upawana here for a response. What Sariputta says, what Ananda says next is unique, only found probably in this sutta. Ananda says, right now I feel a sense of a lack of moral courage. The translation there is slightly different. Okay, here this is a very difficult line because the Buddha Ananda says, now I feel I lack saraja, I lack moral courage. Sometimes it's translated as timidity. I have timidity. I'm afraid now. Basically, Ananda is feeling remorseful. He says, "Oh dear, I think the Buddha is going to scold me," something like that. Okay, so he feels a little trouble. So this is one of those rare occasions you see Ananda remorseful, right? So in other words, what this line tells us is that Ananda does feel remorseful over what he did not do. All right, but he's only a stream winner. Remember that. And then the Buddha comes out of his kuti. True enough, the Buddha addresses Upawana, but not to scold Ananda. Okay, the Buddha goes to the deeper qualities. Okay, 5 qualities that a monk should have, so that they are really good monks. So number 1, it is 39 here. So the Buddha asked Upawana, I said, okay, how do you define a good monk? Right? So in a sense, this is what the Buddha is instructing Ananda indirectly. So he asked Upawana, what are the good points that a monk should have? Right? So 1, it should be morally virtuous, and then it is defined. Right? Dwells as training, keeping with the patimokkha, basically training the precepts. Right? And then next, he is deeply learned, remembers the teaching well, and whatever he has learned, he has also understood, right? And then number 3, he has a good voice. In other words, he's able to clearly give the teaching, and this voice also refers able to clarify the teaching, explain it clearly, remove doubts. Then number 4, he attains at will, without trouble, without difficulty, the 4 jhanas, so that constitute the higher mind and abiding that is pleasant here and now, right? And then the 5th one, by realizing for himself true direct knowledge right here and now, he attains and dwells in the freedom of mind and the freedom by wisdom that are influx free, with the destruction of the mental influxes. In simple terms, he attains arahathood. So here the Buddha is telling Ananda to work harder to attain total liberation, to attain arahathood. Since Ananda has not attained arahathood, he lacks that courage to speak up for Sariputta, in other words. So this last teaching is given to the Buddha, given by the Buddha to Ananda and also to us, to have all these qualities so that we have moral courage, we're able to stand up for the Dhamma, basically, right? Then the sutta closes with the Buddha saying sadhu, right? The Buddha, section 41, sadhu, sadhu, upawana. Indeed, right? These are the 5 qualities which a monk should cultivate. So the teaching ends there, right? So here you see again this very interesting situation. This is a rare sutta. You don't find many suttas like this, where you have this elder Sariputta giving a talk, and then this monk speaking against him, but Sariputta doesn't retaliate. There are other monks like Mahakachana, for example, who are more outspoken, who would actually say, why do you say that? You should not say that. You know? But Sariputta is very gentle in this sense. He would not retaliate. But Ananda also kept quiet. Okay. Now here you see a very interesting aspect of Ananda. You know, he has the habit of keeping quiet at the wrong time. You know, in the last days of the Buddha, we are told that the Buddha hinted that he could actually extend his life, but Ananda did not say a thing. But the story somehow has been, we're told by the storytellers that 16 times the Buddha said this. So, and then, of course, once you have this kind of absurd number, Mara gets the blame. Okay, so Mara appears all the time and trying to confuse Ananda's mind. Well, the point is, we're talking about Ananda here. So sometimes you can hear that the teacher is talking to you, but you listen, but you do not hear. So Ananda didn't even ask the Buddha, what do you mean? Right? So the story went that the Buddha then just gave up his life at 80, passed away. This is one of those strange Buddhist stories, if you like. So you can take it different ways. But here, of course, once Ananda becomes an arahat, then you find after the Buddha's passing, he continues the teaching. Okay. All right. So do read the sutta for yourself, and maybe you can find out more interesting aspects as you reflect on this. Any questions or feedback on this?
I don't quite understand. When Sariputta, when he describes the
cessation, is it?
Yeah, I don't understand. Is it also among accomplished in moral value, a virtue?
What number is it?
Yeah, at page, the sutta itself.
Yeah, what number is it?
Mine is page 151.
No, the paragraph number.
Paragraph number 1, number 2.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes.
Among is accomplished in moral virtue, accomplished in samadhi, accomplished in wisdom, might obtain the cessation of feeling and perception. Cessation of, so what? This monk is still alive?
Yes. Okay, here, accomplished in the three trainings. Notice these are three trainings, right? Moral virtue, samadhi, and wisdom. So here, of course, you have to know a bit of doctrinal background. A non-returner or an arahat can go into this deep meditation called cessation. In short, it's called cessation. In other words, the whole body shuts down, and the mind goes into this deep nirvana state. So this is the experience of nirvana here and now.
So this is nirvana beyond dhyana.
Yeah. So the person is technically dead, but he will come back after a certain period, say at the most 7 days. Okay.
So this is beyond the stage of neither perception nor non-perception.
Of course, yes. It's beyond the 8 jhanas, the formlessness, beyond the formless jhanas also.
And he does not view direct knowledge here and now. What does that mean?
That means arahathood. Once you see direct knowledge, usually refers to arahathood. What number is that?
If it is arahathood, then how is it he is reborn? Because in arahat there is no birth, no death.
Yeah, he won't be reborn. This one will refer to the non-returner.
Non-returner.
Yeah, arhats will not be reborn. Yeah.
So this is non-returner. So he could be born in the divine realm.
Yeah, be reborn in the pure abodes.
Pure abodes.
Yeah, pure abodes. See, this is the thing. Those early suttas, they are less technical than the later suttas. They won't tell you specifically where it is, but from the context you can know. That is why you have to understand the doctrinal background of the sutta. Yeah. The suttas give some latitude to the teacher. So when the teacher understands the Dhamma, then he will at once say, okay, this is what the Buddha is talking about. This is where it's a trap for those who do not study suttas enough. They just look at the word of the sutta, they interpret by the word of the sutta, then you find it's very hard to make sense. You say, hey, does it mean that anyone can attain this cessation? Not at all. That's not true. No? Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, let's end here for the moment. Another Buddhist year is ending. So we have been keeping up our study of the suttas as time goes by. Some suttas are quite short and easy, some can be rather long and engaging. But these are instructions given to us over time. And studying suttas also goes over time as it's like first reading, and then in time to come we look at it again, and our understanding deepens and widens, and that's how we enrich our life through a deeper and better understanding of the Buddha's teaching. In doing so, we begin to see our lives in clearer light also, and live a life of greater meaning and quality, so that we don't get caught up with the blind flow of the crowd. Keeping this in mind, but the power of the Buddha's teaching and the three jewels, may we be well and happy. Especially may we be blessed with the courage and wisdom to aspire to attain stream winning in this life itself. Meantime, may we be well and happy. May our loved ones still be well and happy. And may those who are practicing the Dhamma to attain the fruit of their practice in this life itself. And may those who are lost and seeking the truth to find the joy of the true Dhamma in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.